Okay, well, we'll just kind of play it out and see where we end up. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first Monday Mood with J-Mo and Miller. I'm Jonathan Moore. I am from Cairo, Georgia, which is kind of where we're sitting today. We're in our facility, the Swing Shop. And I grew up playing baseball. Grew up right here in Cairo, went to high school here. Went to college to play baseball, played a couple years in junior college, and then ended up at a small Division I school to finish out my last 2 years. I had an opportunity to play independent league for a team in Nebraska, and it was kind of one of those things where money wasn't really going to be, better than what my day-to-day job was going to be. So I committed myself to teaching the game more so than I did playing it. I felt like I had kind of run my course as far as, I feel like I'd made it as far as I could make it. Yeah. I was kind of beating a dead horse in a sense. So, that's kind of who I am. A lot of times you get to a place in your life where you're not where you thought you were going to be, but when you really sit down and look at it, I feel like I'm in a better place now than I would be if I would have ended up where I thought I wanted to be. Yeah. For example, I wanted to play professional baseball. That was the only thing I ever wanted to do since I was probably, 10. Yeah. A child. Mm-hmm. Old enough to know that I was pretty good at the game and that I liked playing it enough to where I wanted to play it as long as I could play it. Yep. But this is kind of, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but it kind of puts in perspective now the way the game's going now. Yes. Is not the way I thought the game would be. And so, again, I kind of like the place I'm at. Mm-hmm. I'd rather be doing what I'm doing now than be there. I wouldn't know as much as I know now if I would have just made it to the major leagues and played. Oh, yeah. I feel like I've grown a lot more as a person with some knowledge of baseball. My knowledge has gotten a lot more specific. It's gotten a lot more in depth. Yes. And it makes a lot more sense to me now than it ever did when I was playing. Yeah. But that's kind of a little bit about me. Brian?
Yep, my name's Brian Miller. I grew up in Thomasville, which is about 15 minutes from here. I went to school at Thomasville High School, went on to play at small Division I, Savannah State, which is where me and Jonathan hooked back up. Me and Jonathan have been together for a long period of time.
Yeah, we grew up.
Our families have been very close. Our dads were in each other's wedding, and now we were in each other's wedding coming up for both. But I would think along the same lines as Jonathan. Just I had the opportunity to better myself in the way to make it maybe to that major league level. Unfortunately for me, my senior year of high school, I had an injury on my arm that instead of getting those scholarships right out of high school, I had to really make a decision on whether I really wanted to do this, because the road to where I needed to be to play Division I or to play at any school that way, I had to really commit to rehab, just working on what I could and all that kind of stuff to bring me back to at least 80% of what I was. And I was a pitcher, hitter, could throw pretty fast from the mound. But I digress because I don't want to get too long with this. But it puts in perspective, like John said, about what you thought you'd be doing and what you're doing now. I thought, like Jonathan, that I would be doing something at a different, higher level, but I'm exactly where I need to be. I've gained way more knowledge being where I'm at than going to do those things in baseball and whatever, not only in the sport itself, but in life. That's one thing that a lot of people don't understand is growing in knowledge of things helps you move forward in life and set new goals. And I think that's something that has helped us set new goals in here, is the fact of expanding our knowledge on the game and hitting, and that has allowed us to do so much for this community. Not hugely yet, but we're getting there. But
yeah, it's a growing process for sure. I mean, and if you don't know what we do, I mean, we work for a company called Camwood Bats, which is basically a training bat company. We sell training bats, tees, all that kind of stuff, and we teach a specific way to hit. We believe that there is a right and a wrong way to hit. I mean, obviously, there's more than one way to skin a cat, but again, if we're talking about consistency and we're talking about literally being the best hitter you can be, which is obviously what everybody should be trying to do, then there is one way that will be more consistent than any other way for the rest of your life. Obviously, athletes are different. Some kids are a whole lot more athletic at 10 years old than the other 10-year-old. So that has a big part to play in it too. But the concept of what we're trying to do, I mean, we're talking about a ball moving from that position to this position in a straight line. The fastest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And until anybody convinces me or finds a new way that's faster than that, we're going to teach exactly what we teach. The more you can get the barrel, the sweet spot in line with the baseball, and the longer you can keep it in line, or the softball, the longer you can keep it in line, the more consistent, solid contact you're going to make. That's a fact.
And we've learned this from a coach that does AAA, works for pros and all this. And we're not talking about timing, folks, because
everybody gets lost in time.
Yeah, the initiation of the swing, which is your start, yes, that has to be consistent, which is what we've learned. But the period of time from when that barrel enters the zone and exits the zone, there's so much variance there, so much speed change with fastballs and pitches that we have to maintain that position in that zone.
You have to allow room for error.
Yeah, because there's going to be error. You're not going to be perfectly on time through that zone for that certain pitch every single time, and that's what we got to play into.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that's kind of what we want this podcast to be. I mean, it's called Monday Mood. Obviously, I mean, it's going to be, it may be moody some days, but it's truthfully just going to be our opinion of how we see things. Obviously, we do this every day. We teach hitting like this every single day. We teach the same concept to every kid that walks in this door, no matter the size, the age, the gender, nothing. It does not matter. We teach the same thing because we're trying to take a round ball and a round bat and hit it square. That's what we're trying to do, whether you play baseball or softball. And so our concepts do not change. The methods may change. The way we teach it may change. The way we explain it may change. But again, we have to understand that in order to make the most solid contact, your bat's got to be in the way of the ball longer. And I mean, kind of going into our next, basically what this first one's going to be about is kind of what we see from the outside looking in, because obviously we're not professional baseball players. We do not have a connection professionally to the game in a sense. We know people in the game. We know people that have played in the game. We've played against people that are, I mean, playing like Kyle Lewis, I mean, Rookie of the Year last year, year before. We shared the field with that guy. Great player. And so we do know what we're talking about. We do have an idea of what we're talking about. We've been there, done that in a sense. But we now know why we're not still doing it. And it's been it's come from a lot of watching. I mean, we think about the state of the union of Major League Baseball. You take it, I mean, right now, the first point that we'll mention, this year there was 16 players, 16 hitters total in Major League Baseball that hit over 300.
Wow.
Okay, now, the first time I ever met a hitting coach or ever had a hitting coach, I knew right then, they told me, they made it a point that I understood that if you do not hit 300, if you're not hitting 300, you're not consistent enough.
You're not doing good.
I mean, obviously, yes, the game is built on failure. This is, if you can't deal with failure, you cannot play baseball or softball. But folks, there is a goal that every hitter should try to strive for, and it's at least 300. I mean, for sure. Now, you can't get lost in batting average. Your mental game can go to trash if you get stuck on your batting average.
Numbers, yeah.
But again, there was only 16 professional Major League Baseball players that hit over 300 this year. If you go back to, that's 2021. If you go back 10 years ago to the 2011 regular season, and I'll say this too, the highest batting average this year was 328. Yeah. The highest batting average in 2011 was 344. The total number of players that hit over 300 in 2011, I believe it was in the 20s. 25. 25 players. You go back farther than that, I'm going to go way back to the last one they have, 2002. First of all, the man that should be in the Hall of Fame, Barry Bonds, hit 370.
Yeah.
Let's chew on that. But the total number of players that hit over 300 in the year 2002 was 35. 35 players. And obviously I'm a perfectionist in a sense.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this and wondering why everybody ain't hitting 300. But at the same time, think about let's say these 35 people right here were keeping the barrel in line the most. Okay, we're talking about professional athletes now. The best athletes at that sport. If all of these other guys would have got on the same concept as these people and really worked on specific concepts that improved their consistency of contact, do you not, for example, you take somebody like, Tory Hunter. Okay, Tory Hunter was not a power hitter. No. He was an average outfielder. He hit 289 in the year 2002. But he's a professional athlete. If he learns the concept of keeping the bat in line with the ball, not to say that he had a bad swing, but there's always things that can be fixed in everybody's swing.
Yeah.
If those things improve, you're getting upwards of 50, 60, 70 people probably hitting over 300. Because, we watched all these people play. Yeah. You're talking about Tory Hunter, Cliff Floyd, Alex Rodriguez, Todd Walker, Brian Giles, Derek Jeter, who hit 297 that year. Still under 300. But his career, I think, is over 300.
Yeah.
But still, all these people are, if they're not at 300, they're chomping at they're knocking at the door of it. The folks now, you go to 2021, and we're dealing with people that, as soon as we get past, 296, 295, we're dropping down into 290, 280, 270s very, very fast. We get to the number 50 here, and the guy's hitting 271. In 2002, dude's hitting 288. So again, we're looking at numbers here.
Yeah, we're looking at
the game.
Yeah.
It is obvious that hitting has gotten worse. I'm not saying that pitching hadn't gotten better. Pitching's gotten better.
Well, we talk about hitting. How about, let's talk about the fact that, do y'all go home and watch professional baseball now? Do y'all literally want to go home and sit and watch that?
All the stuff that I watch is, it's highlight reel stuff.
Yeah.
It's Instagram stuff. Because you watch a game, and there's literally, say that there's, 12 balls in play, 15 balls in play, 20 balls in play. I bet you not 20%, 30% of those balls were hit hard.
No. It's because they're trying to be perfect, and they're trying to hit home runs.
They're trying to crush the ball.
Yeah.
And they would literally crush it if they just...
Well, you got to think, guys, home runs is not something you go for. You don't try to hit home runs when you're up at bat. Technically, a home run is a miss. You miss the ball a little bit low.
Ball gets up.
Ball gets up and out of the park. And now that's their goal, is to hit home runs. So now we're taking the aspect of the straight line and turning it sideways. So now we're going from back to front and trying to hit a ball up in the air. And so now our window for error has shrunk even more, being in the zone, to being about that big.
Yeah,
And you're talking about having fun watching a game that you're either going to hit a home run or ground ball or strikeout. That's what we're watching.
They're either going to hit it 700 feet or they're going to swing and miss.
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk about strikeouts, which I hadn't even paid too much attention to it. I'm just looking at batting average. But the strikeouts are ridiculous too. I mean, they're astronomically higher than they were 10, 12, 13, 14 years ago. And I mean, it all goes back to, if this is how much time you could have to hit the ball solid, hitters are making this window become like this.
Yeah.
Some of them are, I mean, even smaller. And I mean, again, we're not going to go so much in depth on what we're doing in here.
No.
Because, I mean, it's not that hard. It's based on a straight line. It's based on the fastest distance between 2 points. If you really, I mean, if you want to do it, go buy the Camwood program and go through it. It's literally that simple.
Yeah.
It's that simple. But until hitters get out of the, I want to be a power hitter, I want to hit, I mean, I want to hit all these home runs and just be the guy.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a guy. We were watching a video just a second ago about Pete Rose. I mean, his hit streak. He had like a 37 game hit streak.
Yeah.
And Tommy Holmes was standing there as excited as anybody. Pete Rose said, I hope I'm this excited when the next guy breaks my record. Yeah. Folks, I'm going to be honest with you. The way it's going right now,
that record ain't going to be
record, it's going to be a long time before that record's broken.
Yeah.
Because nobody is striving for what Pete Rose was trying to do. Yeah. He's just trying to hit that sucker hard. He's trying to put the barrel in line with the ball so that if he's early, late, or on time, he still comes out good. And it really does not make sense to me when we're watching so-called professionals. And I mean, we're going here. So-called professionals. We ain't professionals, but so-called professionals that cannot hit 300.
Yeah.
They cannot hit 300. I mean, I'm telling you, I've played with folks that were not as strong, not as big, not as fast, not as powerful, but they would out-hit some of these people that are playing now because they were so consistent. Every time they swung the bat, it was barrel, 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 barrel.
Yeah.
And we don't see that now. We're not seeing that now.
Well, I know, and another thing people like to talk about is pitching. Okay, guys. I just want to give y'all a heads up that pitching has gotten faster. Okay? The movement on balls has not changed. Maddox, Smoltz, all these people that were back in the day had way more movement than the pitchers do now. Hate to tell y'all. But faster balls are in more of a straight line. We're trying to hit vertically up in the air and home runs, and the pitching has only gotten faster. All we've done is taken our barrel out of the zone with it. Why take it out of the zone when it's moving faster? Now we can just need to put it in the zone because they're supplying all the power for us to hit these big home runs and everything. But the instance of pitching being the problem, the batting averages and all that is
it's a myth.
Yeah, it's not true whatsoever because they're straight lines that have gotten faster and more straight.
Well, you used to have, I mean, you've heard the phrase that coaches used to say, especially back in the day, good pitching beats good hitting.
Yeah.
I so totally disagree with that.
No.
Because again, based off of what I've seen and what I've watched and what you can go back through, I mean, hitters in over time, Albert Pujols, Tony Gwynn, Miguel Cabrera, Derek Jeter, all these people that hit 300 and they did it consistently. Okay, they were literally, I mean, just trying to keep the ball or keep their hands inside the ball and put the barrel on the ball. They're not trying to hit all these home runs.
Yep.
I mean, they're not trying to, drive in every single runner that's standing on base. They're playing the game of baseball.
They're playing the game.
They're accepting the fact that the game of baseball is that hard. Okay, we're talking about fastballs 90% of the time because just about every hitter that ever goes to the plate is going to get a fastball during that at-bat. That's a fact. If you're a hitter, you know it. And so if you're going to get one fastball that at-bat, if you could learn how to keep the bat in the way of that straight ball that's moving, you would just about barrel up you'd barrel up a ball every at-bat as long as they threw you a fastball for a strike. The curveballs, changeups, sliders, all that kind of stuff, that's the pitcher's advantage.
Yeah.
That's what makes baseball the greatest game ever,
Yeah.
is because they can literally fool you by making that pitch look like a fastball and then all of a sudden it falls off the table. That's what makes the game so great. And we've got off of that. Baseball's gotten towards, home runs. No.
The competition aspect.
The competition is what makes the game so fun.
I know of a couple coaches that have said, as far as pitching and batting goes, that it's an art. in the aspect it is. You're painting corners, you're painting placement, you're doing all this stuff that's beautiful to watch when you see a breaking ball that's at somebody's left elbow and breaks into a strike.
Oh, yeah.
And it gets them to buckle. I mean, those aspects of the game are what's great about it, and they're kind of getting taken away in an aspect of because people are just swinging out of their shoes, not based on a team and not trying to compete for the team and trying to get runs and hits to score and win games, but to be the next highlight reel in social media, to be the next person that hits 50 home runs. But
to win an MVP.
Yeah,
I mean, what's sad to say is that if the game would get back to the way it used to be, I mean, think about it. Think about Tony Gwynn as an athlete and think about Bryce Harper as an athlete. Who's a better athlete? Bryce Harper,
yeah,
no doubt. So think about if that man had the same philosophy, had the same mentality, had the same concept. Imagine if he was literally trying to think about how to improve his contact rather than his home run number or his power or his slugging percentage. I mean,
absolutely.
Again, if he would just try to improve his contact, he's a stupid athlete, y'all. He would probably be the MVP every year.
Well, we talk about Tony Gwynn a lot. You talk about old school. But if we go back to numbers, old school guys, they were averaging 30-plus batters a year hitting over 300. 30-plus. That's double what it is right now.
That's double.
Yeah, and it's like, don't go, why y'all teaching old school? Old school, I don't really like it. Why? Why are we not learning?
You don't like consistency?
Yeah, it's just knowledge passed down that's changed, okay? We're bringing the modern day concepts of that old school approach into now, and it's working. We have 30, 40 kids in here that come freaking
and there ain't the first complaint.
Yeah, 4 or 5 months. We do 30-day program. We have kids that have been in here for 6 months because they don't want to lose this. They don't want to lose what they've gained. And yes, we really preach them to go do this on their own, to learn for themselves and stuff like that. But they come in here to learn, not just about drills, but the knowledge of the swing.
They're coming in here in a sense to do the same thing every time they come in here. I mean,
yeah, they know
we have a small amount of drills that we use.
Yeah.
We do not hit, a lot of balls in motion a ton because the kids that we're dealing with, they're not there yet. Their mechanics are not there yet. Yeah. We're just now getting to the point to where we have 1 or 2 that are ready to start moving into some BP, some front toss. Because again, folks, don't underestimate the tee. The tee is the best tool in baseball. If you cannot learn how to keep your bat in line with a ball that's sitting still, you're not going to be able to keep your bat in line with a ball that's moving. So we start and preach that concept to every kid. We've got kids that have been in here for 6 or 7 months that are just now getting ready to move into that ball in motion. But again, we're not doing anything different. They come in here, they're going to do the same one-hander, the same two-hander, same weight shift, same pipe. And then we're going to get into some full swings, and then we'll probably get into some front toss or BP, in and out, whatever the case is, at the last 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah. This is muscle memory, people.
Yes.
This is muscle memory. The more, I can train my body to do it just like that, 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 the more it's going to do that on command.
And the easier it will be in a game. They'll be able to go up and not worry about what their mechanics are doing. They just get up there, watch the ball, and put a swing on it because we've hammered the muscle memory into their swing till it knows what to do.
And now all they have to do is literally go play the game. Play the game. I go back to my days of playing. I was very mental in a sense. I would think. I'd think myself out of at bats. I'd think myself into holes, stuff like that. But, I had confidence in what I did at the plate. I had confidence that if I took my knob to the ball, my barrel was going to follow. I had a slight fear that I was going to get beat inside. So sometimes I'd cheat. I'd cheat to that pitch and I'd get way out front. I would lead with my hands rather than leading with my lower half, which caused my strikeout numbers to go up. And again, that's something I didn't know then.
Yeah.
But I see it now. You watch all these strikeouts now, the reason they're striking out is because they're starting to swing in the wrong place. Yeah. They're starting to swing from the top rather than the bottom. So they don't give their hands enough time to decide if it's a ball or a strike.
Yeah.
Their hands are already going at the ball. They're already trying to crush it. And they don't even know if the pitch is curveball, slider, changeup. They don't know what it is.
Yeah, what it does is it doesn't allow yourself to, one, process And then once you do process, oh crap. So now we put the brakes on a swing
you're
that's
halfway
in
through.
motion, and now we're slowing it up and straight into the ground.
Beating the ball on the ground.
Yeah, we're striking out. I mean, that's one thing we also preach. I would rather make a mistake going 100% than make a mistake going 50%. You have to trust in what we're teaching and what we're doing in here in order to see the best results, to feel those mistakes that you're making, and all of that stuff. These people that are half swinging, practicing check swings. What? Come on, guys. Practicing check swings.
We literally watched a guy the other day on Instagram talking about he was using this bat that they teach practicing this check swing. And they practice this check swing. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if we're really trying to teach kids how to be the best player they can be, how to get to the major leagues, how to stay in the major leagues, I mean, I'd love to coach a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that I ever will, but I'd freaking love that. That'd be so cool to say, I coached that kid right there. He's in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. You're not getting in the Hall of Fame if you're check swinging, man.
No.
You're not. I mean, if you can check swing and hold your swing up and it be a ball, great. I tell you a better way to do that. If you'd start from your lower half, if you'd start the swing from the lower half, you'd never have to worry about a check swing because your hands would literally be sitting right here before they ever moved.
Yeah.
I mean, you never have to worry about that barrel getting out. The reason you have to stop that check swing is because all the weight's
dumping out.
Around. So again, Major League Baseball has given us a very, in my opinion, a very bad view of what baseball should really be.
Yeah.
And it's been a gradual change. I mean, you can go back to when the commissioners changed years ago. Bud Selig to Rob Manfred. Nobody likes Rob Manfred apparently, and they all believe he's ruining the game. But folks, everything rises and falls on leadership. I'll give you that. But Rod Manfred ain't playing.
No, he's not.
He ain't stepping in the box and hitting. All these dudes that y'all are taunting up and highlighting and loving on and, ooh, they're so good, they're MVP and Rookie of the Year, this. Look at their numbers consistently.
Yeah.
Look at them over a period of time. And then tell me if they're really an MVP. Tell me if they're really, or if they just had a good year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, God's honest truth, folks, you can have a good year. You can sometimes have a really good 2 or 3 or 4 years. But, I mean, if I grab 10 of your years and consistently they're not about the same, you're not real good. And about the same being close to 300.
And something y'all don't also take into consideration. When people go sometimes in these 1 or 2 years where they have good seasons, they probably see a lot of the same pitchers come up to that mound. Those off years.
They're playing the same teams.
Yeah, those off years you see them, it's probably when there's a little rotation.
Playing the same teams.
It's probably when there's a little bit of a rotation in pitching, got new draft picks coming up and stuff like that. They're seeing new people. So now they're having to try to make adjustments to these new pitchers and not doing a really good job of it. So there's a lot that goes into play here when you talk about good and bad seasons. And that itself is, it'll tell you right there. If you're a good hitter, good hitters make adjustments, okay? A lot of this talk about pitching, change, and everything, this game is based on adjustments. If you can't make adjustments in game, then you're not going to be very good.
You're not going to be very good. You're not going to be able to play the game long. I mean, again, we're probably products of, or testimonies of the fact that if you get to a point to where the game is adjusting faster than you,
you're in trouble.
You can hang your cleats up. I mean, we quit playing for a reason, folks. We stopped. I mean, there's people right now that we know still playing and still grinding that are our age, still in some form of the game as an athlete. And I tip my hat to those guys. I do. Sherman Graves, my guy, freaking raking right now.
Yeah.
But
prove him wrong, boy.
I didn't. That wasn't me. I mean, I tip my hat to people like that because I say they grind a little harder than me. I was ready to get into the teaching. I was ready to try to figure out why.
Yeah.
I didn't make it. I felt like I had maxed out my potential. I felt like I was at a point to where, I could keep trying to do this, but I'm going to dig myself in a lot worse of a hole in my life than I would if I just
financially
accepted the fact that That's as good as I've gotten. So now go study the game. Now go learn the game. Now go try to find out why you didn't make it. Now go try to find out all the little things that you didn't know, and then teach them to the kids that are coming up. Yes. That's what this is about.
Yes.
I mean, we say Monday mood. That's my mood. I want people that were 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old to start understanding this. Yes. Because I do know that number one, it's a lot easier for a 9 and 10-year-old to figure it out than it is for a 14, 15, 16-year-old. Which is
crazy.
Because they have no bad habits.
Yeah.
Again, if you can teach a 9 and a 10-year-old how to consistently make contact at that age, which is possible to do.
Very possible.
And then you let them grow, and then you let them get big and strong, and then you encourage the weight room, and you encourage conditioning, all the other stuff that goes with it. Now you're going to see 340s, 350s, 360s in these higher levels of play.
The tables will turn from seeing these huge pitchers throwing 100+ to these huge batters hitting 350, 400.
And we're getting ready to wrap it up, but you talk about pitchers. One reason that, hitters have given pitchers the platform. Yeah. They've made some people who are really not good pitchers. They just got a stupid arm. They can throw it 148 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. They've made those people look like they are God's gift to baseball. And they really don't have but one pitch. They can throw a fastball that looks like it's rising on you up here at your chest because you cannot hit it with a loop in your swing. No. And every one of these players doing this right here, have a loop in their swing. That's why they can't ever catch up to it, is because their barrel is underneath it. Go watch it for yourself, folks. What we're telling you, we've seen it with our own eyes. We ain't conjuring this up in my head.
No, yeah,
we've seen this. And we continue to see it. We'll continue to see it unless people start really focusing on what's happening from a hitter standpoint.
Yeah.
That the ball is literally, if I'm just thinking about fastballs, again, and accepting that the game is hard. It's that hard. They can throw other pitches besides a fastball. But if I'll gear on that fastball and learn how to take my hands in a straight line and stay inside of that ball and incorporate my lower half the right way, I'm telling you people, baseball will be so much more fun to watch. Mm-hmm. Batting averages would skyrocket because the athletes today are so much better, in my opinion, than the athletes of yesterday.
Yes.
And it's because technology and development, all that stuff, people are smarter now. People are more knowledgeable now. Yeah. But it all goes back to knowledge.
Yes.
One reason we quit playing was because we knew that was as far as we were going to go.
We had a limited amount of knowledge.
That's all I knew.
Yeah.
There was nowhere else for me to go.
And no one else had it.
Exactly.
I couldn't find it anywhere else to make myself better because no one else had it. I couldn't go ask my coaches because they don't really know. They'd tell me to emulate somebody else's swing or hit on top of the ball for a ground ball.
They're telling you're popping up, they're telling you to beat the ball on the ground.
That's not any more knowledge about what my swing, how it functions, and how I can get in a better position to do those things. All it does is try to make me produce a result.
It's a Band-Aid, truthfully. It's a Band-Aid for what's really the problem.
Yep.
They don't understand how to fix the problem. Mm-hmm. The problem is you're hitting the ball in the air. Okay, well, fix it. Yep. They don't know how to fix it. Mm. And until we start getting into knowledge and hitting coaches start really assessing what they're doing.
Yes.
And again, we're talking about things moving in a straight line, and we got people teaching people how to, about rotational stuff. There is rotation in a swing, but I'm not spinning in a hula hoop to hit a ball moving in a straight line, folks. That's common sense now. It's common sense.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. This is going to continually progress. We're going to try to keep our topics light and fun, I guess you could say. Yeah. But this is stuff we're passionate about. Yep. We're adamant about this. Mm-hmm. Baseball has gotten worse over the last 10 to 20 years.
Yes.
And I don't want to see the game go. It's a fact, y'all, that less and less people every year are watching the game. Less and less people care about the game. So again, stay tuned. Check us out on Mondays right here for Monday Mood. I'm J Mo.
I'm Brian Miller.
See you next week.